Happy New Year, everyone. I've gone into session for each of the 12 sun signs and each of the 12 ascendant signs. There are 12 videos posted for the 2018 Evolutionary Growth Narrative. What is the main theme for your growth and evolution over the coming year? It's going to be different for your sun than your ascendant because they represent different aspects of the soul's growth journey. In each video, it's themed by sign. So, in the Aries video, you're going to have 2 readings in that video. One for the sun, the second for the ascendant. It will be the same for Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, etc. I am sending you each much love as we enter this very dynamic, very growth-oriented and maturation-oriented year of 2018. More to come. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. I have a task for you. It is a sacred purpose burned in your heart, and you experience it as desire, as the big, bold dream that you may not dare to speak aloud. You must trust me and my power, for that is greater than any doubt or fear. I have created this task, this sacred purpose, just for you. It will ask many things of you. You shall have to give up what you have been holding onto in order to open your arms to receive it. In dropping your ideas of impossibility and stepping into the joy of the journey, my beloved divine wild child, your destiny will be manifested through you rapidly, and all manner of miracles shall assist you on your way. Such fun you shall have in the process of discovering what you are capable of when your heart is open and you believe in me unconditionally. When you leap, do it with joy upon your lips as you squeal with glee, and know that even the trickiest task shall be made attainable through my grace. There is something you are meant to do. You've been growing toward it your entire life. All your life circumstances, lessons, and situations have been teaching you valuable skills and wisdoms so that you are equipped for the tasks demanded by your divine destiny. You may know clearly what those tasks are, or they may as yet be a mystery to you. You may not be a big picture sort of person, preferring to focus simply on accomplishing the many smaller tasks before you each day. Even without the vision, this daily disciplined approach will lead you to higher and higher until you have ascended the peak of your own personal mountain and can see the broader picture of how all those smaller tasks have prepared you for a bigger journey of passion and purpose. For you to take this next step, whether it feels like the leap that will launch your destiny into an entirely new level of manifestation, or whether it just feels like the next step, and not particularly a significant one at that, on your journey, you are being guided. The Oracle tells you that to truly take this next step, no matter how big or small you may imagine it to be, you must let go of doubt, fear, hesitation, judgment, and control. Now, that is no small task. However, what is being asked of you is truly pleasurable, which makes the task rather more palatable, if not so much easier at first. The pleasure is in the key to successfully taking the next step, to allow joy to be your safety net, your attitude, the feeling by which you are guided, and the basis for your decisions. Bliss, happiness, joy, these are high frequency, high states of being which cannot be contrived, and yet despite what mainstream culture tends to think, are not dependent on our life circumstances. That is a great and powerful teaching, and perhaps one of the most radically freeing teachings the Divine Mother can ever bestow upon us. To learn to feel joy in our hearts without having to have a particular reason for it is the beginning of access to great spiritual power. to be able to tap into the frequency of joy, of simple delight in being alive, and utter appreciation, reverence, and gratitude for the humor, diversity, and beauty. Even the confounding, inexplicable mystery of creation is remarkable. It is the way to cultivate divine power, the sort of power that allows you to fall completely in trust and land with perfect precision in the best set of circumstances possible for you, to fulfill your divine destiny. There may be darker times, darker emotions that will be your companions at different times upon your life journey. Sometimes those darker companions will feel even more familiar and constant to you than the joy always gurgling beneath the surface of your life experiences. It requires a strong and compassionate will to honor all you feel without denying the darker emotions that will come and go at times, whilst also deciding to gently but firmly bring yourself back into connection with the joy that exists within always, just like the sun behind the ever-shifting clouds in the sky. The joy within you is what acknowledges life without having to control it. You are alive, you are growing, you are learning. Your life is a fascinating, challenging, beautiful, and at times perhaps completely confusing and bamboozling experience. You can experience and appreciate it all. You may have a preference for less suffering and mental anguish, but you can accept all that experience is offering you, that it is serving some sort of divine purpose to help you learn, even if the learning is to let go of needing to hold on to the pain. At a certain point in the journey, when you have learned to surrender judgment and learned to open with increasing acceptance to all experiences that life delivers, even the ones we would prefer never to have to repeat, we will be ready for this new way to be. To walk the path of joy may seem simple, and it is, but it is simplicity that has been well earned through finally letting go of the need to control, understand, or judge. Life just is. We live it as best we can, and so too do others. We no longer need to compare or criticize ourselves or others. We come out of our heads and into our hearts. And in that journey, we discover a kind of freedom of spirit, a place within where joy can happen, spontaneous and unbridled. You are being called to that place. It is simple but profoundly high in frequency. The divine can work very easily with a human being in that state because nothing is resisted. There is no coaxing or cajoling, analysis or procrastination, overthinking or fearful acting out that drains energy and slows down the manifestation process. There is just presence, and life can happen with utter immediacy. It sounds effortless, and it is, but it requires much courage to allow ourselves to reside in such a state, to take ourselves to that joyful well within, again and again, no matter how much darkness we may encounter within or in the world at times. Whether you consciously recognize it or not, there is a wellspring of joy within that never dries up. It is not always easy to feel it, and that is part of the mystery of human experience. Yet the time has come when another step is upon you and you need access to the joy within, the high frequency it releases within you, in order to take the next step of your life path. There's no need to worry or be concerned. There's just a step to take with an open and happy heart. If you are not sure what it is, it will either happen naturally without you even realizing it, or, if you need to know, that knowledge will become apparent to you at the right time and place, and you'll take your step. In a state of fear or doubt, the step may seem impossible, foolish, ridiculous. You may not be able to even sense it in that state of being at all, like trying to see the sun through a thick storm cloud. Yet, in a state of joy, it will be the easiest, most natural step for you to take, and the actual step itself will seem obvious. You won't need to think about it. You'll just do it because you feel good, and so will taking that step. So go into your heart, feel the delight of the Divine Mother's smile as she nods and says, yes, this is meant to happen now. And dance with her into your next step. knowing it will happen at the perfect time and in the perfect way. This oracle comes to you with guidance. There is nothing that is impossible. Approach your decisions from a place of joy. If you are ill, tired, fatigued, or finding the idea of summoning joy impossible in itself, then you need rest. Take it. Enjoy it if you can. Drop everything and don't try to push anything, or keep going until you have rested sufficiently and a step forward feels good rather than a chore or a muscle that you need to muscle your way through. Once you are refreshed, you will be able to drop into your heart and move forwards in a joyful way. It will move you further more swiftly and easily than any moment of effort at a lower vibration of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. This oracle comes to you with guidance. There is nothing that is impossible. Approach your decisions from a place of joy. If you are ill, tired, fatigued, or finding the idea of summoning joy impossible in itself, then you need rest. Take it. Enjoy it if you can. Drop everything and don't try to push anything or keep going until you have rested sufficiently and a step forward feels good rather than a chore to muscle your way through. Once you are refreshed, you will be able to drop into your heart and move forwards in a joyful way. It will move you further, more swiftly and easily than any amount of effort at a lower vibration of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. This oracle brings you comfort. Follow your bliss. Do what you love and learn to hold love in your process, even if it is during a dark or challenging time. You are promised an outcome that will bring you to much joy, that even the darkest times that led you there will be looked back upon with gratitude and reverence. If you or a loved one have suffered from emotional or mental anguish, physical illness, or anything that has drained your capacity to feel joy and happiness in life, know that this oracle brings you glad tidings. The ability to feel happiness will return. You may wonder if the ability to feel joy has drained right out of you, but it is not. It is there waiting for you to remember it always, and so it shall happen according to the Divine Mother's compassion and grace. The Divine Mother will offer you many gifts that heal you and open you up to the natural joy within. It is a fire of love within that has never been extinguished and can never be taken away from you, no matter how much darkness you might have encountered. If you have been working hard, this oracle brings you messages of rest and play. Finally, this oracle brings news of a spiritual gift, of something taking place that will bring you great delight. Even though a part of you has perhaps wished for something of the like, you haven't really believed it could be possible, that it would really happen. But something will transpire that will become your spiritual gift, something you want very much, and it will be a double gift. The gift itself and the joyful trust in life it encounters with your heart. Remain open in your heart and mind, and the Divine Mother shall orchestrate this offering according to the perfection of her joyful grace. Sacred Falcon shows the way. My wisdom is embodied in nature. I speak to you through the language of the natural world. You will understand my guidance for you as you trust in your observations of nature. Look for my signs. My language is symbolic, humorous, clear, and loving. I talk to you every day, my divine wild child. Within you are the wild instincts and loving intuitions that can recognize my signs, the presence of my guiding hand. I am speaking to you. Believe. The Divine Mother has many ways of communicating. We can be most receptive to her helpful guidance when we are open, without expectation, as to how she shall communicate or what she shall tell us. We must be willing to trust our hearts when we feel moved, even if our logical mind has doubts. Your heart just knows when you have received a sign from the Divine Mother. It could be the most ordinary occurrence, a simple remark made by another, a song on the radio, the sudden appearance of an animal, Yet underneath this apparent ordinariness, there is a sense of the numinous, a magic that catches your breath before your mind steps in to discount it as fanciful. You sense and feel something profound beneath the appearance of the everyday. Or perhaps your sign is more dramatic, an accident that seems like a warning, or a synchronicity too vivid or compelling to ignore. What shows a sign to be a communication from the divine, rather than any other mundane happening, is the feeling that accompanies it. It captures your attention, and you sense there is meaning for you, even if you are not sure immediately what that meaning could be. For one person, it may be a ladybug landing on their shoulder. Without thinking, they flick it off. For you, however, the same simple happening could reflect a deeper communication. The landing of the ladybug is a reassuring touch of the Divine Mother upon your shoulder. Maybe a bird strikes its prey right before you. For you, it is a sign of great opportunity for you and must be ready to act upon it without hesitation. A single white feather, as if from an angel, could fall from the sky and land at your feet. Somehow, you know everything is going to be all right. Another person may give these things not a second thought. When the oracle of Sacred Falcon shows the way comes to you, you are being told to trust the signs. Trust what your heart tells you, what you feel, over and above any apparent logic. Trust where you are being led and what you feel the divine is communicating to you through the happenings in the natural world. Trust even in the signs you sense through the modern world created by humanity, such as a song on the radio or a book that seems to demand that you purchase it. For there is divine guidance in all things if we know how to feel and look for it. You don't have to understand the bigger picture here. The messages you receive do not have to conform to logic. They don't even have to translate into words. You may simply have a feeling of connection and reassurance, a sense that cannot be justified or explained, that somehow whatever has been bothering you is being taken care of by a greater power. Whether or not you have a clear or conscious interpretation of what you recognize as your sign, you are being given valuable guidance nonetheless. At a deeper level, it has an impact and will inform your choices. So, it is safe to have faith in these signs, and to do so you will need to trust your own heart and feelings. Let yourself continue to be led by inner instincts that recognize and interpret the signs and omens of life, even whilst your mind may question whether the divine could be so interested and active in the smallest details of your life. This oracle of Sacred Falcon shows the way also comes with a special message. Even in the most unlikely of circumstances, a way can be found. It will not necessarily be a consciously understood way. You can allow the instincts of your own nature to help you find what you seek. Instinct is not intellectual deduction justified by logic. Instinct is more like intuition in that it comes from deep within the body. Where intuition comes from the heart, instinct arises from the body's knowing and expresses itself through your bones, a gut feeling from deep in the belly, or a sense of smell that alerts you to something or someone not being quite right. Instinct is your body's version of intuition and is natural and helpful. The process of socialization and education typically tries to impose reason and logic, intellectual and rational explanation upon our instinctual self, as though the intellect were somehow superior. Intellect is a form of useful intelligence, but to allow it to dominate instinct is not intelligence at all. Instinct can tell you when something is not as it seems, such as when a person's words do not match their intentions. You don't have to think about how you know, you just know. Instinct for when to trust or when to remove yourself from a situation or relationship, for knowing when to rest, and for knowing when to hunt for nourishment is a natural part of your body's wisdom and helps you live well. When instinct is combined with the intuition of the heart, you are given not only powerful impulses to guide your life, but also the wisdom to respond to that information consciously and in ways that are constructive and will take you forwards on your life path. Instinct gives you the information, and intuition tells you how to deal with it the best way. For thousands of years, wild birds have been tamed by the falconer for hunting purposes. One of the keys of falconry is the bond between the hunter and the falcon. It takes time to develop and is based on clear, simple reinforcement. When our wild instincts have been damaged by social conditioning, we can feel confused, uncertain, and lacking in self-confidence. This can happen when we ignore our body and sit at a desk for prolonged hours, or keep our emotions in check, not making a fuss. We ignore what we feel, as there's no logic at the time to support our feelings. Restoring the honored connection between instinct and intuition, between the deep knowing of our body and the loving wisdom of our heart, is an integral part of our rewilding journey to become a fully alive, divine human being, rather than one with a broken will and a disconnected mind, body, soul. This oracle brings you encouragement with such a process. Just as the falconer builds a bond with the wild falcon, who then helps the hunter in their task, so too do we need to repair the bond with our bodily instincts. This means that we do not judge them, do not shame ourselves for them, do not blindly act them out, as we need the wise intuition of the heart to know what to do with our instinctual responses. But nor do we try to repress them. We learn to listen, to care, to value, to respect. When our body feels something, especially something uncomfortable or pleasurable, we are curious, open, inquisitive, and non-judging, and our intuitive heart responds to the information the body provides. When we choose to live with wildness, which means openness to all of who we are rather than just the parts that seem proper, appropriate, socially acceptable, controlled, and tamed, then we need our instincts just like the hunter needs the falcon. We must learn to trust at that deeper level, restoring dignity to our basic responses to life and learning to use their messages with wisdom. If you have started this process of rewilding, of healing your relationship to your own instincts and letting them recover from abuse, suppression, or denial, then this oracle brings encouragement to continue. Your healing will be wildly successful and most helpful for your quality of life and your spiritual growth. If, for example, you have an instinct that something or someone is right or not quite right for you, then this oracle is confirmation of that assessment. Do not dismiss these feelings as being merely judgment on your part, and therefore your own issue, rather than a truth showing itself to you. There may be a situation where you are involved in a project with a particular person, and you have to let them know it is not a good idea for you to work together, even if you are not quite sure why. Or perhaps you are sensing that a personal relationship is not healthy for you despite a long history together and no particular change in the relationship that you can quite articulate. You may wish that person well, but it would be best to heed instincts, cut ties, and therefore avoid unnecessary complications and struggles later on. As you learn to listen and respond to your instincts, you'll find it easier to trust them because you'll see from experience what happens if you ignore them. Life can flow much more easily when you trust your instincts, even if at the time it seems more difficult to act upon what you are sensing. This trust will require you to have self-esteem, self-love, and self-confidence. If you feel you are lacking in any of those qualities, you can be sure this oracle is bringing you a message that they are being developed through the way you choose to respond to life experiences. Those qualities of love, esteem, and confidence are needed for your next steps on your life path. It is an act of self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence to trust in your instincts. You are being reassured that they will not lead you astray, but indeed toward nourishment.